Okay, so the recording. Yeah, so we have started discussing about arrays in the last class. So as we all know, arrays is a data structure. Okay, so data structure is nothing but the way how we organize the data. So basically it defines the structure of the data, how the data has to be stored, right? So it defines the structure of the data, right? So in this manner, like in the array, so basically it's a linear data structure. So array is a linear data structure. So that means we'll store the values in a linear fashion. So if I if you wanted to see the logical representation, so we can see the logical representation. So in this manner, so the array would be something like this. So we'll store the values in this manner. So serially or in a linear sequential fashion or linear fashion. So we can see. So in this manner, we can store values into an array, right? One more thing, we can only store homogeneous type of data or the same similar type of data we can only store, right? Similar data we can able to store into the data this array. So if I declared my array as an integer, I can only store integer values into my array. So I cannot store other than this, right? So I cannot store a string value into an integer array. So that is not possible. Only we can able to store similar data into an array, right? So this is one more thing. And basically like why arrays has been introduced, right? So if we have a requirement of declaring multiple variables, right? So if I have a requirement of declaring multiple variables, right? Roll number one, right? So roll number two, right? So roll number three, or so in this manner the roll number may be 1 2 3, so the value may be anything, right? So the variable I have to declare these many variables in order to store. If I have 100, if I have 100 students in my class, I have to declare 100 roll number variables and I have to initialize them. So it may be very difficult for me in order to manage them, in order to maintain them, and even in terms of readability of the code. So if I have 100 lines of the code is occupying with the declaration of the the 100 lines, the starting 100 or 200 lines of the code is only the declaration. So it is not good as like in terms of readability, right? So even the maintaining code is also very worst kind of coding practices, right? So and we cannot able to, like if I wanted to find the average of all these uh, roll numbers, so it is very difficult for me to do like not the average. So right, if I wanted to select one thing, right, or if I wanted to do certain operation, so if I want to search for a particular roll number, if I wanted to sort roll number, so these all things are very tedious tasks, are very difficult tasks if I do this kind of thing, right? If I declare them manually. So rather than declaring them manually, what we can do is we can take a single variable, that is roll number, and we can store a series of values, right? We can store series of values, and this variable may be referencing to those particular values. So all values, the reference variable or the reference variable would be this. So only this variable will be pointing to all these values, and these values are grouped together into a single unit. So that is the concept of arrays, right? So this roll number is a single variable, it is pointing to these values. But how can I identify each and every value or each individual value? How can I identify, right? So here comes the issue, right? So basically whenever we are storing the value, each value is identified with its index, right? So every element will be having a position in the array. So if this is a roll number array, what is the position of this two? It is 0 position, right? It is in the first position, it is in the second position, it is in the third position, it is in fourth position. In this manner, each and every element is identified with its position, right? Every element will be having its own position, and it is identified with its position or index number, right? So index starts from 0 in the arrays. The index starts from index of elements starts from 0, right? Index of elements start from 0. Okay, so the first element will be given an index with 0, and whenever I wanted to access that particular element from the array, if I wanted to access this 3 or if I wanted to access this 7, so in this manner, if I wanted to access a particular element, then what I'll do, I'll, I'll use this index in order to access that particular element. Okay, so like this. And one more thing is array size is fixed. Array size is fixed. So once I declare, I cannot able to modify the size of an array. So it is difficult to modify, like it is impossible to modify the size of array. If I have declared my array size at the time of creating array, so as 30, so it will be fixed. So only I can able to store 30 elements into that array, and 31 element if I try to insert, it will give me an error, array index out of bound, right? So at the time of declaring an array, I have to specify what is the size. So what is the drawback of this array is whenever we wanted to use the array in the programming in the runtime, like we need to know the size of the array before creating it. Then only it is efficient. So what happens if you have created an array of 30 size and you are only storing 10 elements into it, right? Remaining 20 memory locations will be waste. Those are reserved and these 20 memory locations will be waste. Okay, so when you have declared 10 memory, when you have declared your size as 10 and you later you wanted to store 30, right, it is not possible. Then that is an inefficient, right? So that array is incapable of storing those 20 elements, right? So in this manner, the only drawback of this array is we should be aware of the size before using it, before creating it, right? So then only it is possible. This is basic overview. It's a linear data structure. All the data we are going to store, so it will be stored in a linear fashion, right? So the similar type of data only you can store, and the array size is fixed. So this is a little overview about arrays. Okay, so now we'll see the syntax of how to create an array. Syntax of creating an array. How to create an array. This is a syntax that we are going to look. So first, what we have to do is I have to provide a data type. So first I have to provide the data type, and then I have to use the square brackets, and I have to give an identifier. So this identifier I'm going to create, right? So this is also possible, right? Data type, identifier, and then this. So this thing is also possible. Okay. So in this manner we can use and data type, square brackets, and then identifier. So this thing is also possible. So in these three ways we can create. So we'll see the example. So if I wanted to create an array of type int, I can use this, and then my name, like my array name would be roll number. So I'll be creating an array in this, like in this manner in Java. So this is how I want to create. Right? So this is also can be done. Int array roll number. Right? So int roll number. So these are the three possible declarations of an array. Right? So in this way we can declare. So this is the declaration part. So this is a declaration of an array. Okay. So if I wanted to initialize an array, right? If I wanted to assign some values into it, if I wanted to initialize into values into it, roll number, right? So this only creates a reference variable. Now, if I wanted to provide size to it because before using it, we have to provide size to it, right? So roll number, new int, and then here we have to provide size. Just a minute. Sorry for this. Hello. So So this is how I'm going to initialize my array. So here I have to provide 20. So in this manner, the 20 memory locations will be created in the array so that we can able to store 20 elements into this array. So this is how we initialize the array. So this is also comes under the creation. Okay, initialization is nothing but assigning the values, right? So this is also a part of creation. Okay, so declaration or creation. So it's a part of array creation, we can say. So here instead of this second line, we can directly assign it over here by removing this colon, semicolon, and then this role. Okay. So in the single line, we can do this. Int role equal to new int of 20. Right. So in this manner, we just have to create an array. Right. So coming to the initialization part. So coming to the initialization part, what we have to do is, if you wanted to store, so this is my array. So first I have created an array int roll number equal to new int of 5. I have given 5 as my size of an array. So now what happens is internally the 5 memory locations will be created something like this. So in this way, 5 memory locations will be created internally, right? So when I wanted to store values into it, so now this got created, and the reference variable to this will be role, right? The name I have given as role. So this will be pointing to this particular array, right? So it don't have any values in it. So since it's a type of integer, it will be initialized with default values. That is, what is the default value for integer data type is 0. So it is initialized with 0. If I don't assign any values, it will be assigned with its default values, that is 0 over here. So now what happens is, if I wanted to assign a value into this particular position, so the position always starts from 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in this manner, I can able to like these are the indices for this array. So if I wanted to store value into it, so what I have to do is I have to use this row, and then in the square bracket I have to provide the position, and then I have to assign the value to it. That is 4 I wanted to assign. So in this manner, so roll 1. So in this way, what I can do is I can provide values by giving their index number. So in this particular index, this value will be located, or this value will be assigned. So in this position, so the value will be assigned. So in this manner, based on the index, the value will be mapped into that particular location, right? So this is how it works. Right? If I wanted to print something, right? If I wanted to fetch this value, or if I wanted to access this particular value inside this location, so I what I have to do is, right, first the 0 will be overwritten by 4, right? So in this manner, it will be overwritten by 45. The 3 will be overwritten by 456. So it's a 456. So in this manner, the values will be assigned into that particular memory location. So this is of inserting the values, or initializing the array, right? If I wanted to print these values, what I can do is I can directly use system dot out dot print. I just have to use role of index you have to pass over here. right? In which like what value or the value in which location you wanted to print, that we have to provide over here. A roll of 1, that means roll number of 1. That means in the roll number array, what's the value that is inside this first position or first index? What is the value? That is 45. So we'll get 45 as our output. So 45 as our output we'll get. So in this manner, this works, right? This is the initializing an array or inserting values into the array. So this is how we access the elements from an array, right? So apart from this, we can also directly, if you wanted to directly assign values, then there is one more way, right? Int array. If it is a role, then what happens is by giving directly equal to and by providing this, we can directly pass values. How many values we want? You can pass those many values over here. So it auto calculates based on the number of values you have entered, and it will assume the size would be the same, right? Based on the number of values you have entered, it auto calculates the size of an array, and it will also provide indexes to these elements based on the order you have provided the values. The index will also be the same. So the same order will be preserved, or the same order will be used for the indices, and the same element count will be calculated as the size of an array. So this is of the static initialization. If you wanted to do, we can do this, right? So these are the ways that how can the creation of array, declaration of array, and assigning the values to array, printing certain value from the array, right? Inserting element into certain position. So these are the concepts related to array, right? So uh, assuming you already know all of these, yeah. So yeah. So it's a simple program. So in order to cover all these topics, and then we'll move to the searching concepts. So how to search an element into array, and how to, yeah. So there are two types of sets available, right? Linear search and binary search. So we'll look into those things, right? Yeah. So first, what I'll do is, so I wanted to create an array int a. So this is also possible, right? Int. This is also possible. Int. This is also this manner. These three things are possible, right? So in this manner, we can create arrays. If you have two arrays to be created, then what you have to do is, right, integer array, or right, if you have two arrays, so what we can do is we can just provide these two arrays. So then it will create two integer arrays. Sorry,
Okay.
it will create two integer arrays. It will create one integer array and one int b. So it will be creating
One integer array, one integer value.
integer variable it will create, because this square bracket is only for this a. So if I wanted to create two arrays over here, I just have to, so this is, so I just have to use integer array. Yeah. So in this manner, it will create two integer arrays over here. Right, so this is how we are going to create an array. So let me declare an array and let me initialize in this way. Right. So here my array reference variable is arr. So here I am just going to insert 1, 5, 78, 89, 90. So in this manner, I have just provided 5 values into it, right? So now if I wanted to print element from this array, system dot out dot println. So in this manner, starting from 0, this will be the lower index and this will be the higher index. Higher index will be array length minus 1. That is because it is starting from the 0. Actually, the array length has to be 5, but it is, since it is starting from 0, the highest element in the array, the highest index in the array would be length minus 1, that is 4. Okay. So if I run this application, all the elements will get printed onto the output screen. Yeah, so yeah, so I think in 10 minutes the meeting will end, so we'll rejoin. Yeah, right. So 1, 5, 7, 8, 89, 90. These will be printed, like all the elements got printed. So in order to write these, like instead of writing these many system.out.println, we can observe something over here. Everything is same apart from the index. So only this value is changing. So what I can do is I can take a for loop and int I am starting it with 0, I less than, we can use 5, right? Because we already know the size of array. Or if you don't know the size of array, we have a property called arr length. So it will return us the length of the array. So how many values are there? Length of the array it will print. So we are just iterating starting from 0 to array length. Okay. So then I plus plus. So here what I'll do is instead I'll change this to I and I'll remove all these values. In each iteration this will be printed. Right? In this manner I can do. So it will give me the same output. It will give me the same output. So instead of this for loop, we also have one more loop, that is for each loop. Okay. So instead of using this for loop and passing these indexes, we have one more loop that is intended for these collections or these data structures like array. Okay, so we can use that. So instead of this, what we can do is, so here we're putting the index. So the syntax would for each loop is also for each
object.
So for, and then we have to use a variable over here, right? So the variable would be int. Okay, so int x, and then from where I wanted to iterate array.
Array.
So here I can just print system out, yeah, outer println and then x.
X.
So yeah, so here I don't require x because what I'm doing is for each element in x, for each element in array will be assigned to x in each iteration. For each element in array, the element we are directly accessing into array x. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are using the index and then we are accessing it from the array. But here in the for each loop, what we are doing is instead of getting the index, we are directly getting the element. That element will be assigned to x. Okay, so that x we are just printing directly. We are printing the value rather the index. Okay, so this is what the for each loop is. So if I run this, we'll get the same output. So for each element in array is assigned to this x. So this will be in this order for each array element into this x. So 1, 5, 78, 89, 90. So in this manner, the for each loop will work. Right? So this is a for each loop. We can use this for iterating these data structures. Okay, so in the collections also, if you wanted to iterate from the elements from the array list, so these things we can use for these purposes, right? So if I don't want to initialize in this manner, I just wanted to create array. So how I can do this is int. Okay, so here I have to specify the size. If I don't specify the size, it will give me some error, right? So it will give me error that initializer expected, right? So I'm just giving it as 10. Okay, so and if I wanted to store some value into it, how can I store? ARR of 0 equal to 1, right? ARR of 1 equal to 2. So in this manner I have uh, initialize the array and let me print the values now. So what will happen? So as we can see here, 1 and 2 got allocated and remaining all the memory locations is also actually have the value that is 0, right? That means these memory locations are waste now. We are not using these 8 memory locations, but those are waste. So this is a bad practice. Whenever we know the exact size, then we can go with array. If you don't know the exact size and like it is not like efficient to use the arrays at that point of time, right? So if you know the number of elements, then it will always I recommend to use array because arrays are faster as compared to the collections. So arrays are faster in terms of performance, but in terms of memory usage, so these are not good. Okay, so in this manner, all the other values will be initialized with default values. So if I change this to double, so what is the default value of double?
0.0.
So here also I just have to, here you have to take care of the data type, because what is the value, like what is the each value that is in the array. So we have to provide that particular data type over here. So since every element in my array is a double, so basically double is data type, it's a primitive data type, capital double is a wrapper class. So we just have to use this double, small double, it's a primitive data type, capital double is a wrapper class. So we'll discuss about that. As we can see here, the default value is 0.0. It got allocated to all the other memory locations. So based on its size. So this is how we'll do. So here also, instead of doing this, if you wanted to take user input, scanner sc equal to, you can use new scanner system.in. We can use, and then I can directly use here sc dot next double. So because since we are our data type is expecting a double value, we just have to use here next double, right? So our cursor will be waiting for reading two inputs from the console, 2.3 and 3.233.45. So in this manner, these two values are initialized and then remaining are 0.0. So here also, if you wanted to fill all the values from the user, if you want to take all the values from the user, then what we can do is I'll just reduce this to 4 so that yeah, it won't take much effort of mine to enter the values. Right, so far int I equal to 0, I less than array dot length, and then
0.
is,
Semicolon.
and then here instead of this I can just provide I can just write one line and then
I.
pass I over here so that we can able to insert all the values in all the memory locations dynamically from the user. So we can see all the values I have inserted and all values we are able to print them successfully. So this is a basic creation, initialization, accessing the elements, right? So basic concepts about array. So yeah, so I'll be discussing some programs like first we'll discuss about how to search, how to sort, and then how to insert and how to delete. How to insert an element into a particular position and how to delete. So these concepts we'll discuss. Then we can move to the OOPS concept.
Okay.
So yeah. Any doubts? I think yeah. I assume like you all know all these things. This kind of these things. So array API, we have the array API. So we have 3-4 classes, so we'll discuss we also discuss about that array utils, arrays. So these are some classes available in Java. So there is a built-in method support in Java, so which we don't have in C++. So if I wanted to write some logic, if I wanted to reverse my array, so I have to write my own logic in the C. So I don't have built-in method support or built-in function support over there, but in Java we have those built-in function support, and we'll be discussing about a few functions, a few methods that are by default provided to us, right? So that are provided to us by Java API. So we'll be discussing about them as well. So how to reverse array, how to sort array, right? How to convert array to toString, how to join two arrays, how to merge two arrays, right? So these kind of things. So there is a predefined method support is available. So we don't need to require our custom logic, our own logic every time, right? So it is very difficult for us to write our own logic each time, right? If we are developing a like enterprise level application, so it will be difficult for us to rewrite each function every time. So there's a built-in method support that we frequently use. So we'll be discussing about those classes and those built-in APIs, and then we'll try to write some custom logic, right? So and then we can move to the OOPS concepts. Yeah. So okay. So that's it for today. Yeah, we'll meet tomorrow, and yeah, fine.
Okay.
Thanks. Okay. Thank you. Bye.